Hi y'all, Joni here with Yaya. I'm here to do a new moon reading for you today as we have just arrived at our new moon this morning or this afternoon in Aries, and that is a big moon that talks about new beginnings, as Aries is technically the first sign of the zodiac. So we're going to get started. I'm going to do one of my story spreads for you just to let you know maybe some things that you can expect and get clarity on for what's going to be growing as the moon is waxing to the full moon. So I'm going to go ahead and cut my deck. I've already shuffled 3 times. So for some of you, the first card kind of lets you know what the story is going to be about. Oh, and it's going to be about a lot of information. The Prince of Swords typically comes in to let you know that new ideas are coming and that we can rely on those ideas to help give us some information. A lot of movement, a lot of clarification, and ideas. So that makes sense. We're going to have a lot of movement and a lot of information coming at us within the next new moon cycle. Here we go. Next card is going to be the Seven of Wands. The Seven of Wands is a card that represents courage and being courageous, and it also represents standing your own ground. And notice he is at the top of this hill, and everybody's kind of pointing their swords at him, and he is all by his lonesome. So that kind of makes sense with a whole lot of things that are going on right now in our world too, right? So stand your ground. Don't be afraid to reach out and share your ideas, and don't be afraid to be the only person doing what you're doing, because when you know what you're doing is right, then you don't have to worry about what anybody else is thinking. The next card is the Two of Pentacles. The Two of Pentacles talks about a lot of changes coming up. Changes are good. With change comes growth. I actually just said that in my yoga share this morning. And it doesn't mean that the changes are always going to be easy, because truthfully, right now, I know so many of us are like beating our heads in. I know that I am totally doing that. I'm having a large problem, or it's a very hard thing for me not to be around people, because I'm a people person and I love to be around people. I still like to be on my own, but I get energy from being around people, from getting to hear how people are doing. When someone shares with me, I tell people, I love to hear about you. I love to hear your story. I love to hear what drives you, what you're passionate about. And when you share that with me, I love that. So I'm not getting any of that right now, and it's kind of hard. So, changes. Lots of changes coming up, but remember that with change comes growth. And what I shared earlier today was that whenever we have the ability to make those changes, so when frustrations arise, we take within us the ability to change. We have to make the choice to change when the frustrations come up and make a different decision than getting frustrated and getting agitated, right? So we make the decision to take a step back and to reevaluate how we want to actually act. And then we get to make a choice, a different choice, and maybe act a little bit more reserved, maybe act from a place of a little bit more courage, maybe act from a place of a little bit more knowing what we want to do. And with that, we get to grow. And because we get to grow, sometimes we look at it and we can say, wow, I made that decision and I did such a great job. And it's wonderful when we do that, because we did make the decision. But we also have to recognize that that agitation that came up was part of the reason that we got to make that decision. And we have to almost pay homage to these frustrations that cause us to react differently when we have the chance to do so. So that is what the change card represents here. Now, the Magician card. I love that. The Magician always comes up to tell you to make magic. So We get to look out over the world. We see the things that we want to do. And when we consciously move towards the things that we want in life, when we are consciously making the choices to help us on our journey, we're going to be able to move forward, and we're going to be able to do it magically. Like, things will start coming to us. Things will just start happening because we are putting in the energy to make it happen. Small things, it doesn't have to be a whole lot, but put energy into the things that you enjoy. Put energy into the things that you want to manifest in the world. And how can you do that? Make a plan. Make magic. Next card that comes up, yay, and the world will be yours. So when we learn to balance, this is awesome. So when we learn to balance our inner selves with our outer selves, right, we begin to recognize that the world can be ours. And that's exactly what this card represents. It says when you balance your inner and your outer, that you are going to start to see changes. You're going to recognize that you can achieve real success. Things will come to you. The world can be yours. Now, I love this reading. I was so worried that it was going to be so dooming, but it's not. Check that out. Now, the next card, oh my gosh, y'all, another major arcana, patience. Temperance always comes in to remind us that patience is one of the biggest things needed. So when we put the energy into the things that we want, and we recognize that we can make magic, and we start seeing some of those little signs showing us, oh, right, we are on the right path, we're getting some of that stuff back. Sometimes we find ourselves in a stalemate and in a place where it feels like we're not getting a whole lot of movement, as the Prince of Swords talks about. And we start to get bitter, we start to get worried, we start to make all kinds of stories in our minds of what's going to happen instead of allowing ourselves to just sit back and take a moment. So this talks about the size and the quality of your plans aren't the issue. Allow yourself to have patience and timing. So patience and timing are the keys that are necessary to help you move forward, to help you find that growth. And you can do it. Just sit back and try to chill. I know it's hard. And you will find joy. The Six of Hearts. Awesome. The Six of Hearts talks about beginning to find people in your life that remind you of a childhood joy. So this childhood joy that you can remember, the memories that you have that made you happy when you were younger, things that make you feel elated when you see them. This is the card that's telling you you're going to start to see this and you're going to start to feel it. So keep your eye open for those things. And that's so funny because that is the yoga class that I did the other day, and I told everybody to find their joy. What makes you joyful? I love this. Okay, so next is the Queen of Pentacles. Right, the Queen of Pentacles has been coming up for a lot of people lately in their spread, especially when they're asking about what's going on in the world right now. How is everything going to turn out? How am I going to survive? What's going to happen? This card reminds us to be aware of everything that's going on financially for people, stability for people, people that not necessarily monetary, people can have all the money in the world, but they're still not stable because they don't have support in the emotional realm, right? And so the Pentacles talks about stability, earthly stability. It definitely talks about monetary success, finances coming in, but it's also about being grounded and rooted and what makes you feel that way. What brings you back to earth? And sometimes it is family, sometimes it is money and security, because we definitely need those things to survive. And a lot of people are going through a lot right now in both of those areas. And so she likes to remind you to just be aware. Like if you have friends that you know that you can reach out to and talk to, or just send some positive energy to, she's saying you can do that because we have an amazing power within us whenever we just connect with each other and let each other know that we're there. Then we are already feeding someone who is in need. So check on people, listen to their story, find out what's going on, and don't be scared to share your story, and let people be there for you as well. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to ask for money from people and it's going to be given to you. It doesn't necessarily mean that people are going to ask you for money and you're going to give it to them, but it does mean that you are going to be supportive, right? Be aware of that support that you can give and recognize the power that it has. All right. So, oh, and then the Ten of Swords. Of course, the Ten of Swords will come up. As I was talking about earlier, I was worried about the doom and gloom. And the Ten of Swords represents ruin. So, this card talks about letting go and letting God. Letting go and giving it all up away to something higher than you. Because in truth, there is nothing that we know for sure right now and how things are going to turn out and what's going to happen in the near future. And if we allow ourselves to be weighed down by it, it's not going to do you any good, right? So allow yourself to find that joy. Have some patience. Recognize that you can have the world. Find the joy. Be aware. Communicate with others. And see what happens. And don't let yourself get weighed down by the potential or possibility of ruin. So from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We got one more card and I'm going to pull that up for you. Oh, and another great heart card, the Ten of Hearts. The Ten of Hearts represents success, y'all. It represents finding, oh, I love this because I just talked about this. It represents finding your spiritual family, finding the people in your life that bring you joy, finding the people that can give you support. Again, support in all senses of the matter, so you feel stable, so you feel grounded, and you will find joy, you will find success, you will find some celebration. And this is wonderful because the last card for the spread is at the bottom of the deck, and this is what is hidden. This is what you also need to be aware of to help you move through, and it's the High Priestess. The High Priestess is all about going inward. It is all about tuning in and listening to the guidance that you get from whatever it is that you believe in. Recognizing that you have power within you to make choices that are good, that are going to be good for you, and trying to follow through with those as you can. And also recognizing that you're human and you're not always going to make the best possible choice that you think you're going to, and that's okay because you have support around you and you can reach out for that support and you can offer support, and magic can happen and the world can be yours. And I am very happy with this spread for y'all. I hope that you enjoyed. I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful new moon day today. I hope that this message finds you happy and healthy and that you continue to stay that way. Namaste.